week than ever when it comes to the just a viewing portion of this. So if you want to be part of the live chat, just make sure you click on the top link in the post that that Dan placed in the Facebook group. So welcome everyone. Once again, hope you had a great weekend, and this is going to be a great session. Today we're going to be talking about internal marketing, which is always a fun topic because we dive deep into pattern interrupts and anchors, which are the most effective mechanisms when it comes to internal marketing. But before we do that, let's go through some updates because this is also an exciting day. The dashboard is officially complete. We had the whole team working this weekend. It was controlled chaos, we'll call it. And up to this point, most of you have received your campaigns for October. If not, you'll be getting them today and tomorrow morning. We are kind of running parallel with our server. There's over 500 different videos, articles, event, campaign files. I mean, it's a very large number that we're pushing out into all of your websites. So we're just running parallel with that. So every time a site jumps up and says it's ready, we are then installing your campaign. So a large number has already been installed. It's just there are still a few that are remaining. So just be on the lookout for your marketing campaigns. If you don't get them by tomorrow end of business, email support@synpractic.com, and we will then get back to you to make sure that we get you what you need. What we're doing for you, just so everybody understands, is we're actually installing the campaigns inside of your dashboard, acting as if we're you. And this is our final test. But with that being said, this is obviously a new software platform. So if there's anything that you see that doesn't look the way that it should look when it comes to the collateral material, just let us know and we'll get it updated for you. We really appreciate all of you for doing that. And also, really important, make sure that you sign up for a training this week. We've been sending emails out about this. The domain is www.synpractic.com/dashboard-training-registration. So please make sure that you sign up for your training. If for any reason none of those times work, just email support@synpractic.com. and we will then find a time that will work for you. But the training is absolutely essential. We want to make this as mandatory as possible because this is where you're going to gain the intellectual ammunition to be able to take this extremely powerful platform and begin to rock it within your business. And this is something that your staff can do, which is why we really encourage that your staff participates in the training as well. If for any reason only you can attend and your staff can attend at a different time, that's perfectly fine. We just want everyone exposed to this. We do have an entire how-to library of videos that explains everything. I mean, everything. But this overview training that's going to take place throughout the week is going to dive into the most important sections for you so that you can begin to select some of your campaigns. So just get ready for that. We will be sending out an email. You'll probably get it tomorrow with your login and password to the dashboard so that you can begin to log in and play with it. But ultimately, go through the training before you try to do anything. It's very easy to use. We want to make sure that we instruct you so that you're able to find what it is that you're looking for. So with that, Dan, why don't you go into some last-minute tips for the September campaigns?
So when it comes to for any campaigns that you guys are running for September, from a communication standpoint, just from a headspace standpoint, I'd recommend that you think about all of your patients in terms of how the best way to describe it would be, Jared, when you and I spoke with during Kyer Tribe, we talked about how there are different communities that overlap, and that your patients are in that kind of middle of the Venn diagram where that overlap happens. So those are conduits to new and different audiences. So when you're communicating with people and having conversations with patients, ask them about the organizations that they're involved in, see what kinds of things that they're doing outside of your own office so that you can kind of get a sense of any kind of opportunity that's out there. They're already, part of your office. They already believe in what you do. So when the time comes that you would like to ask them to introduce you to one of the leaders of the organization they're involved with, they're going to be on board. So kind of scope it out, and when you're having conversations with people, when you're recommending that they do one campaign or another, ask them that and see what they're doing outside the office so that you can kind of get an idea of where you should be looking and where the like-minded people are hanging out. So that's what I recommend in terms of communication when you guys are going for the campaigns this month.
Yeah, it's a really important topic because we hear, like, we're constantly diving into different marketing techniques, whether it's podcasts or trainings, or we go to seminars. And one of the things that all of the leaders of these seminars or podcasts always talk about is the importance of being able to profile your audience. And then as you profile them, really get to know them. And the benefit that you guys have is that you have people walking into your clinic every day. You have a unique 20 faces every day, or 100 faces every day, or whatever that number is for you. These are conduits of major opportunity. And one of the things that we've seen in chiropractic often is that there's such a strong focus on what's outside the office that what gets neglected is what's in the office, but what's in the office is the conduit to get outside of the office. So really think about that. And when we go through the training today and we dive into these pattern interrupts and anchors, think about ways it can be even more than that. Not just getting someone to come to an event, but someone that actually opens up a conduit for a ton of opportunity for you, because that's how internal marketing turns into external marketing. So let's go around and just hear some success stories, or maybe even some challenges that exist, so we can kind of brainstorm through that. So Brian McCarley, let's start with you, man. How's everything been? And give us an update.
Things have been pretty good. Been busy. It's been a busy fall. Seeing lots of growth. We're still trying to get back into the swing of doing more events. I think we kind of overdid ourselves over the summer. Too many events too close together. So we're trying to find the balance there, so we can really put the intention into each of the events that we're doing and really get our most bang for our buck there. So September's looking pretty good. Our anniversary is coming up. We're getting geared up for that one. It's actually on chiropractic's birthday, which is kind of fun. Cool. To have our anniversary on the same day. We had been planning to do a field day in September as well, but I think we're going to have to move that to spring because the weather's starting to turn a little bit around here, and we honestly haven't done enough to get ready for it. So still trying to, like I said, balance things out. So.
Cool. And you bring up a really good point, because there's a lot of new people that are joining SYNMIND. And one of the things from the past, when we were only showing you a certain number of campaigns and everything looked so awesome, you had the desire to, not you necessarily, but everyone had the desire to choose maybe too many campaigns each month because they're just all fantastic. Now that you have access to the dashboard, you really can create a marketing plan for the next 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. Like, the vision behind this is that you sit down as a team at some point within the next few weeks, and you plan out the rest of your year. And then in December, you sit down as a team and you have like a mini war room, and you actually plan out all of 2015. And we're going to have instructions around this and videos that teach you how to do that. But this will allow you to pick the right number of campaigns for you, so you can really put your intention on it. But that's great to share. We're happy to hear that you're busy. Busy is a good thing. So Dr. Whalen, what about you? Any updates over there? You might be on mute if you're trying to talk.
Here we go.
There you go, man. How's it going? Fill us in.
Have the teleseminar scheduled this Thursday for 7 reasons why your children need chiropractic care. And then a couple weeks after that, I'll be doing the movie Doctored. So.
Awesome. You got some good stuff. Doctor was a successful campaign when you did that a couple of years ago, so that's an exciting one for sure. Good stuff. Good stuff, man. Dr. Tompkins, what about you? Anything new over there?
Life is good. We're keeping real busy. We're getting ready to do the Master Controller tonight, so very excited about that. That's going to be a fantastic workshop. We have quite a few people signed up for that. Not as many as delivered, but it's still fantastic. Just looking forward to a great time. So we're doing that and really gearing up for a big teleseminar with the 7 reasons kids need chiropractic. So just looking forward to a great month.
Cool, good stuff, awesome. And Nicole, this is your first SYNMIND, and you posted some amazing pictures. So I don't know if you have volume or not, but if you do, share some of the stuff that you're doing for the Teachers Appreciation Month.
Yeah.
Are you on mute, Nicole?
I got it.
There you go.
Okay, I don't know if you can see me, hear me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, good. I'm in the car, so I will talk. I'm driving. I finally made it in on one of these. I mean, we're doing really good. We've been really focusing on Teacher Referral Month, and now in the next week we're going to start working on our teleseminar, 7 Reasons. And I mean, it's our first month, so we're kind of trying to start October We're still trying to get September going, but it's going good. You know, we're excited about it. People have definitely, I've always been event driven, so they're used to seeing me decorating. They're used to seeing something new going on. We've been doing this for a long time. We've always been that way. So, but seeing apples all over, I mean, they're everywhere. There are apples everywhere. I've been giving apples out now to the kids because they come in hungry after school, and they look at the apples with the, you know, those eyes, and I'm like, do you want an apple? So they're eating the apples too, which is kind of funny. So, I mean, we're expecting really good. I'm going to be doing follow-up phone calls. I've contacted the superintendent. I have quite a few practice members actually that are teachers or are on the board. So I'm working on getting, you know, really connecting to them for the Teacher Appreciation Month. Everyone has a curriculum week this week, so people are bringing like 6, 8 apples home with them to give their kids to bring to the teachers themselves. Like the parents are bringing them to the schools this week because they're going to be in the school. So it's going good. I'm excited.
That is awesome. You got great energy over there. So
I have a staff now, finally. So thankfully, I have people to help. I finally hired 2 people. It's been crazy, but I'm excited. So.
Awesome. Good for you. Good for you. You got awesome energy, and keep posting those pictures. Those are fantastic. So good stuff. So in order to keep on track, let's go through and do a little bit of a recap from last week. So one of the things that we always talk about, and this has nothing to do with any necessarily external marketing or internal marketing or communications or even the little things. But one of the things, and this is so important, we do this here at Synduit, is you really need to, in the beginning of the month, visualize what that month is going to represent for you, and then quantify it. So if it's Teachers Referral Month, how many teachers are you going to see come to the office? Is it 10? Is it 15? Is it 20? If you're doing Bang Your Head, a stress workshop, how many people are going to come? And really quantify it. We do this here all the time. We have a big campaign that's going on this month into next month, and we've quantified every goal. Everybody can see it. It's written all over our walls because all of our walls are dry erase boards. You can't go anywhere without knowing what we're looking to achieve. And when it comes to hitting your targets, this is the only way to do it. You can't hit a fuzzy target. You can't hit something that you don't even know what it is. So really think about, quantify what you're looking to achieve, and make it a team effort. Don't just do this as a doctor and say, yeah, we're going to get 50 new patients this month, and everybody's just going to do whatever I say. But rather sit down and ask everybody, what's your goal this month with regards to new patients? Let them go around the room and then average everyone's goal, and then that becomes the goal for the clinic that month. So now everyone buys into it, and they have a responsibility to help hit that goal. Some other things, Dan, do you want to share some other ideas that came from last week?
Yeah, so we also talked about doing basically everything that you can to blitz the community and get your promotional materials out there. So from an external marketing standpoint, the print materials are really powerful. So get everything printed if you haven't already, and have your staff, if not you, go to local areas, convention centers, places that like-minded people will be hanging out, and hang up the posters, talk to the business owners, maybe even get them on board to participate in the event themselves. Another good strategy was the envelope technique. You can go back and watch the replay for an explanation of that. But I think the general gist is really to do what other people really don't think to do. The point of external marketing is to stand out. You want to differentiate yourself from all the other stuff out there, and that has a lot to do with you know, energy and creativity, thinking outside the box and doing what other people don't think to do. So that means joint venture relationships with local businesses, reaching out ahead of time and forming those relationships so that you can have a sponsor and it would be really well integrated into the campaign. So think about how you can turn this month into the most successful yet, and continue to build on that in the future. A lot of that growth comes from external campaigns because it's a new audience, and your practice is grown through referrals and through reaching new people. So external marketing is a big piece of that puzzle.
Awesome, awesome. And with that, and I've always believed this about chiropractors, we've seen this happen, you're one relationship away from explosion. And that's what it comes down to. Like the name of the game today when it comes to marketing is education and relationship-based marketing. And you see that's everything that we focus on. The educational side are the monthly campaigns, the relationship side are the joint ventures, and forming relationships with practice members that become conduits of even greater opportunity. But you're one relationship away from explosion. There's this chiropractor, I think he's in North Carolina, I heard this story, and he connected with the pastor of his church and just shared his why. And the pastor had a huge fund that was available and paid for the entire congregation to go see this chiropractor, and I think it was $250,000 that he made from that one relationship. And that might be extreme, but what if it wasn't extreme? What if you were to look at the relationships that you have and the relationships that you desire to have as conduits of explosion, of conduits of new opportunity to impact even more people than ever before? You're one relationship away from that. Sit down with your team and really think through what does that mean to you, and then go out there and rock it. So this week, some of the reminders. We have an awesome J&G timeouts. It's on Wednesday at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. This is the conference call for your staff. And the focus is going to be on random acts of kindness. Have your staff tune into this. This is the epitome of doing the little things that make a world of difference. And this goes a very long way. And then also on Wednesday, Dan's going to be doing his Business Pros webinar on creating a blog in less than 30 minutes. And this is really an instructional session, because now that you have access to the dashboard, you're able to blog on a regular basis, and to accomplish this in less than 30 minutes is wonderful. So this is going to be really insightful. He's already shared some of the ideas that he's going to introduce to you, and it's going to really help you go down that path. With regards to any questions, please send all questions to support@synpractic.com. We've consolidated all email accounts. This will allow us to support you even better. So just email all questions, whether they're website, marketing, SYNMIND related, to support@synpractic.com, and continue to use Facebook. You guys are rocking it. It's a pleasure to go and check out Facebook with all your pictures and success stories. So keep on posting there. And now let's dive into the internal marketing strategies. As always, we're going to introduce some universal marketing strategies. These are ones that would apply to any of the campaigns. And then we're going to dive deeper into the fearless strategies. And when it comes to internal marketing, we always talk about pattern interrupts and anchors. And we'll explain what those are in a moment. But Dan, do you want to just briefly go through some of the universal marketing strategies?
Sure. So from a communication standpoint, when you think about what kind of techniques could apply to any campaign, that's what I'm gonna talk about right now. So when it comes to in-office conversations with patients, you want to, number one, target them in terms of what you think is going to be best for them. So we always talk about this targeting concept. You understand what kinds of experiences this person has had when they walk into your office. So if you're running multiple campaigns, make a recommendation based on what you believe is best for them. Or if you're just running one campaign, talk to them about how it's relevant to their life. So that's how you can really get into their life in a meaningful way and have a deep conversation with them that will have them committed and will hold them accountable to coming to the event. Whatever it is, it could be a teleseminar, workshop, referral campaign, whatever it is, have that conversation with them, make it relevant to their lives. From a material standpoint, make sure that you're using all of the materials that we provide to their greatest extent. So that comes down to the letters that we provide for you to send to local businesses. We covered that last week. And it also comes down to the save the date cards in the office itself, as well as the posters. So be creative in terms of what you're going to do when it comes to putting up posters in the bathroom, putting save the date cards in conspicuous places. We always talk about walking into your office for the first time, and that's a really powerful exercise. So take your staff, just walk outside of your office and come in for the first time, kind of clear your head, and come into for the first time thinking that you are somebody who has just discovered your office and who has not seen it before. So pay attention to where your eyes go. Where your eyes go, your posters should go. And when people walk to wherever people walk or sit down and spend a moment standing and waiting, that's where your save the date card should go. So if they're sitting down in the waiting room, save the date cards should typically go on the tables next to it, as well as if they're signing in at the front desk. Same thing goes to the bathroom. If they're sitting down, you've got a table there, put save the date cards in the table, and the posters on the wall. So think about where your materials can go that they would be most visible and most noticeable. And we'll go into more ways to be visible and noticeable with each campaign when we talk about the anchors and pattern interrupts. Anything else? I would recommend that you guys give people permission to bring guests to these events. We talk about this in the communications portion, but this is really important as well, and worth noting now. When you're talking to a patient about an upcoming event, and you're inviting them, and they say, "Hey, that sounds great, I'll come." Give them permission to bring one of their friends, family members, loved ones, whatever they want. Give them that permission, because it's not assumed in all cases that you would be welcoming and open to having more than just that person coming. So say to them, I would love for you to bring one of your friends, or think about somebody in your life who would benefit most from this, and bring them. And have that conversation with them, make it explicit, so that when they go out and they think to themselves, wow, Judy would be great for this workshop, but I don't know if they have room for it. That conversation takes care of that ahead of time. So you're kind of preemptively addressing that issue. That would be the biggest things. Those would be the biggest things I would say from an internal, universal marketing strategies.
Great. So now we're going to dive into the fearless strategies for each of the campaigns, and let me just explain what a pattern interrupt and an anchor is. Even if this is your 10th time hearing this, hear it from new ears, because you're a different person today than you were the first time you heard it. So when people enter your clinic, they're entering the clinic through a pattern called My Everyday Life. And My Everyday Life may not be as wonderful as your everyday life, because you love what you do and you're changing people's lives and you're impacting them in many ways. But My Everyday Life, not necessarily me, but the patient that's walking in, is filled with stress. It could be financial stress, it could be pain, it could be a horrible marriage, it could be a sick child, it could be a career that they hate. That's called My Everyday Life. And if you're truly going to have the type of experience with them that I know that every one of you desire, you need to break that pattern immediately. Something just needs to shock them. It's like, whoa, I didn't expect that. And then once you break that pattern, what has now happened is you've created a conduit for communication. You've created a conduit to impact and change their lives. And this is where you then anchor the experience, so when they're not even with you, they're thinking about you. And that's how you truly move someone to take action. So we're going to introduce pattern interrupts and anchors for each of these campaigns. And some of them might seem crazy, and maybe some of them you have better ideas, and we can't wait to see what they are. But pattern interrupts and anchors are so effective when it comes to internal marketing. So let's start with Bang Head Here, which is a stress workshop. And the pattern interrupt for this workshop is that you should go out and have your staff do this. It'll be a fun exercise, and create a stress bullseye. I'm sure you've seen the campaign at this point. There's a big bullseye, which is Bang Head Here. So a big stress bullseye that everyone can see when they come into your office. And in the center of the bullseye should be a piece of foam, like a circular piece of foam. And make sure, like I said, this is extremely noticeable. Like wherever people are going, they're going to see this big bullseye. And then either you or your staff should ask each person when they enter their office, is there any stress in your life? And when they say yes, because obviously everyone is going to say yes, then they say, well, come with me for a moment. And they actually take them over to the stress bullseye, and they tell them to think of whatever is stressing them, and then to bang their head here, pointing at the foam center. And after they bang their head, the staff should say, or you, if you're the one doing this, now I'm going to get you signed up for our Bang Head Here stress workshop. Give them a save the date, literally sign them up. And you might also want to consider, you can go on, there's all these cheap websites to do this, getting stress balls for this workshop, because you can really anchor it outside of using the save the date. You can also give them a stress ball that has all the information for this event as well. So this would be an example of a pattern interrupt and an anchor. Trust me, they're not coming in expecting to see this big stress bullseye on your wall. They're not expecting you to ask them to think of whatever is stressing them and then to bang their head. And they're not expecting you to invite them to the workshop and then anchor that experience either with the save the date or with a stress ball. So that's an example of a fearless internal marketing strategy. Dan, why don't you do the 5 steps to overcome depression?
Okay, so the 5 steps to overcome depression, obviously it is a teleseminar on depression. So the pattern interrupt with this one is to get a bunch of cotton balls, and in this, by a bunch I mean a ton, and make rain clouds in your office that you hang from the ceiling. So it simulates, that people have got rain. It's always a rainy day for people when you're feeling depressed. So put those around your office. When people ask about it, you can say, you know, many people are in our community are experiencing stress in their lives and feel like it's always a rainy day. There are always rain clouds around, and it brings them down. So you can give them a save the date card and give them a giant freaking smiley sticker that you can get a bunch of on Amazon for really cheap, and have them go home with that. That becomes the anchor for the you know, experience, and they see it later. They think of you, they see the save the date card, and they register. So that would be, you know, both the pattern interrupt and the anchor. They're tied together pretty seamlessly. But that's the idea. You just get a bunch of cotton balls and push them together, glue them together, create those storm clouds, and hang them from your office. This is the first thing people will see when they come in. So I think the next one is chiropractic and health trivia night.
Awesome. Yes, great job with that one as well. So for chiropractic health and trivia, this is a fun campaign. I'll tell you are doing this. So the pattern interrupt is this. Try hanging up question marks around the office and walls and decorate with question marks. Leave magnifying glasses on the table and scorecards all around. And what's going to happen is when people walk in, they're going to say, well, what is this? Because that stuff's not usually there, right? That's the concept of a pattern interrupt. They expect to come in and see one thing, and then it's like completely different. It's like, whoa, why are there magnifying glasses? Why are there question marks on the wall? And then what you can do is if you go onto Amazon, they have a 144 pack of magnifying glasses that are $7.77 total. And you can attach a save the date to the magnifying glass and tell them that at the chiropractic health trivia night, they are going to gain the clue to live an extraordinary life. And this is a conversation that you have after you've broken their pattern. Because remember, they come in, they don't expect to see the magnifying glasses and the question marks everywhere, and you're now going to hand them, once you've broken their pattern, and it's noticeable, your staff's going to do this, one of these magnifying glasses with the save the date attached, and you're going to tell them they're going to gain the clues to living an extraordinary life at the chiropractic health and trivia night. Who wouldn't want that? And now what they do is they take the magnifying glass, they put it in their purse, they put it in their pocket. They're not going to throw it away. They're going to put it on their counter. Maybe their kid's going to play with it. And that's going to anchor them back to the experience when you broke their pattern and said, I'm going to give you the clues to living an extraordinary life. This is a very effective mechanism to move them down the path that you know that they need to go down and that they desire to go down. So Dan, why don't you run with Halloween Harvest Hootenanny?
Cool. So the Halloween Harvest Hootenanny is basically, you know, a total all-out decoration celebration event. So that's the big thing that we want to push here is the decoration. So what I'd recommend you guys do for the pattern interrupt is decorate your office as if it's 100% Halloween, and you can put scarecrows up, have haystacks, have pumpkins, make it fun, especially for kids who are coming in. So just go all out and make it a seamless experience so when they walk into your office, it's a completely different environment. So definitely go to look, you know, for some cool decorations, but that's the big you know, pattern interrupt. It's a completely different environment when they walk in the room. Another idea is to get a large tub and have like a bobbing for apples area. That'll catch people off guard. Total interrupt, and make sure that your team actually dresses up in, you know, Hootenanny-esque gear. So they could be wearing, you know, overalls, or you could have your own you know, theme to it. So be creative and you know, talk to your staff about what they would find really fun. So that all of you guys can really become part of the experience as well. So that's the pattern interrupt. The anchor is to take some of the hay from the haystacks that are going to be, you know, in your office, or just regular hay, and tie it to a save the date card. And you can actually give it to people and ask them to actually attend the Hootenanny. Tell them to dress up, make sure that they come and you know, they can bring their kids, obviously, bring their friends, give them permission. But the actual anchor itself is tying a bunch of hay together, attaching it to the save the date card and giving it to them, because, you know, they are not carrying around little things of hay all day, so that's definitely noticeable when they go home. Yep,
Awesome.
so that's Halloween Harvest Hootenanny. The next one, I think, End Someone's Suffering.
Cool. So, and someone suffering. This is a great referral campaign. This was actually requested, and I'm really pleased with how it came together. And if you by the way, in the blueprint, all of these ideas are listed, so you can always go back. There's actually other ideas as well. So there's plenty of pattern interrupts and anchors that we are sharing with you. But for this one in particular, this is a really good one. We've created this big sign, and you'll see that if you haven't gotten your campaign files, you will see it in the campaign files, and if you've gotten them already, they're in that file. But it's a sign for you to hang up in your clinic, and beneath the sign, you want to put a phone. And the sign says, while you wait, call someone you know that can live without pain, or I think it says live without suffering. And what's great about this is that that's not usually there. So if you set this up in such a way that when people walk in, they see this, or it's somewhere in your office, you're completely breaking their pattern. And then the goal when it comes to the anchor is you actually have them call the person that is suffering when they're in your office to schedule an appointment. This, in and of itself, I think is such an effective mechanism for you guys to get new people into your office, because the people that are suffering need you so badly, and those who are already vital and abundant because of you, they want to help them. But we want to make sure that we strike when the iron's hot. They're there. You're making it convenient. You're making it accessible. It's right in front of them. They can't miss it. It's broken their pattern. You've created a conduit for a conversation, which is, who do you know that's suffering? Because my goal this month is to help 30 people who are suffering begin to live like you. And let's help someone in your life. Why don't you call them right now? So now you just anchor that experience. We'll talk more about that in communications as well. And then also the little things when it comes to closing the deal. But really set this up if you're doing this. This is such an effective way to get new people into your clinic and strike when the iron's hot. So that's the pattern interrupt anchor there. Dan, why don't you do the healthy little pumpkins?
Cool. So Healthy Little Pumpkins, the pattern interrupt for this one is to create an actual pumpkin patch in your office with as many pumpkins as you can handle. But on each pumpkin, write like a motivational quote or a healthy tip. So when people walk in, they see the pumpkin patch, it catches them off guard, but then they see the quotes, they see the little tips, they read through a couple of them, and then they start asking questions about it, which is obviously the point of the pattern interrupt. So get a bunch of pumpkins, create that pumpkin patch in your waiting room so people can notice it. And then the anchor for this is to get a few dozen small pumpkins, the little ones that people can hold and bring home in one hand. And basically target the people who would be the best for this particular campaign, who would have the most to gain from attending and from gaining all the information you're sharing, and give them the pumpkin with a save the date card attached to it, and share your reason for doing this campaign in the first place for little Johnny and little Sally, who need to live a life of health and wellness from day one. So that's what I would do with the anchor, is to have that conversation with a targeted person who would be perfect for this workshop, somebody with kids, whose kids maybe don't even come into the office at the moment, and then explain your why behind this event. And that would make a really, really strong anchor to go right along with the pattern interrupt that they just experienced.
Yeah, that's awesome. For Healthy Little Pumpkins in general, this is the epitome of a chance for you to anchor with your why. Because if you're doing it, you obviously want to see more children, and there's some emotional reason that you want to do that. And that's very special. So to let people see that. I mean, they won't forget the story that you share with them. They won't forget that anchor, especially if you give them a little pumpkin or something like that. So yeah, that was great. So this, as you can see, these are called pattern interrupts and anchors. This is a technique that the most effective salespeople in the world use. When they're selling a product or a service or anything for that matter, they want to break your pattern so that you are now open to a conversation, so that they can anchor the experience, so that you're going to think about them even when you're not with them. Well, the same thing now holds true with your practice members. And if the word sales makes you uncomfortable, I don't apologize, because you are selling the greatest thing in healthcare, which is vitality. You're selling health. You're selling life. So we want to teach you these techniques because they are extremely effective effective to move people down the path that they know is best for them, that you know is best for them, but they don't have the courage to do it by themselves. When you break that pattern, you create a conduit for that conversation, and then you anchor the experience so they never forget it. So now we want to open this up to questions. We always take questions first from the people that are live. I have 2 questions that were submitted throughout, so if there's anybody else who wants to submit questions, please do. But let's just go around and answer questions. So Dr. Herr, you're on mute now, ma'am, but do you have any questions? I think you're still on mute, so we'll keep going around. Dr. Jed, Dr. Tompkins, Dr. Whalen, I think it's Sarah Moore's office, and Dr. Hassel. Any of you guys have any questions you want to ask?
No questions at this time.
Cool, cool. Anyone else have any questions from the live group? All right, so the questions that were submitted, if you guys have questions, you can always speak out as well. This is actually a really good point. I don't know who sent this. I would love to actually know who this was. But it says, I love all these ideas, but that they find that their staff doesn't get as excited. Any ideas? So I actually would like to hear from you guys. Dr. Tompkins, what do you do to get your staff fired up when it comes to the campaigns? Because obviously you're achieving high levels of success very quickly, and I would imagine this is a team sport for you. So what are you doing to get them going?
For the most part, what we do is we meet all the time. We have daily meetings and we have weekly meetings. During our weekly meetings, we really sit down and go over the campaign and how we're going to make it exciting for our patients, because we've done over the years different workshops and classes and all sorts of things for our patients with varying levels of success. And we realize that when we have success is when we put everything we have into it, and so they see that result and are excited about helping us to achieve that. So they're definitely involved in the process. I don't just tell them this is what we're doing and this is how we're going to do it. We sit down and we talk about what is going to be best for us, best for our patients, and how are we going to achieve that. And we start throwing out some of the ideas that we get from the teleseminars and some of the things that we've done here, and we build upon that, and they just, yeah, they're on board, and we do make it a team effort, and it works well.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's so important what you said. Like, you're meeting regularly, so the conversations are there. Like, what we do here is every morning we have a daily stand-up every single morning for 15 minutes, and it's a chance just to connect. People can share what projects they're working on. They can look each other in the eyes. They can ask for support. Just a way for us to really start the day right. And then we have those weekly meetings, like what you were talking about, Dr. Tompkins. We have monthly meetings that are a little bit longer. But what I often find in chiropractic is a lot of times the doctors say we don't have time for that, like we're too busy. And like I always think to myself, how do you not have time for that? Because if the team buys in, your level of success is going to soar, and you've seen that. So thank you for sharing that. And I don't know who submitted that question, but that's a really good question. Does anybody else have anything? Dr. Hassel, I don't know if you have volume. I know you have a large team over there. What do you do to get your team fired up for the campaigns? I don't know if you have sound. So
yeah, he might not have it.
Yeah. All right, so we'll keep going. I got another question that was sent. Oh, there you go, man. Go for it.
Up.
What do you do to get that team fired up? Oh, we may just have video, not sound.
One second.
So the other question was, how do I close during the anchor? So you close with the why. So if you think about how to engage someone on an intellectual level, you start with the why, then you go to the how, then the what, the who, and then you close with the why. And if you don't know what I'm referring to, just go to simpractic.com/emolectual. That's EMOLECTUAL. And you can download a special report and watch a 30-minute video where we actually just dive into this topic. But you actually, when you anchor the experience and you give them something tangible and you touch their arm or you look them in the eyes, you really end with the why, which is what's possible. And like why this is even happening in the first place. And when you can get to that place with somebody and you've anchored it with something tangible, it's going to close. So that all you now need to do is say, okay, let's go sign you up for this program because this is exactly what you need. Or why don't I walk you over to the phone so you can call someone who's suffering? Because remember, our goal this month is to help 30 people who are suffering, and I'd be honored to support the person that you just mentioned in your life. So you just go for it at that point because the conduit's open. You don't need to build this up as like this massive close. Just be yourself. yourself. Just be real. Share your why, and then just ask whatever it is that you want them to do, whether it's sign up for the workshop, the teleseminar, the patient appreciation day, the referral campaign. Dan, do you have anything else you want to share with regards to closing during the anchor?
No, I think that the intellectual connection is the most important, and sounding human is pretty important too. A lot of people start to freeze up and sound like not themselves when they try to close because they're so conscious of it. But like you said, just be human, be yourself, and just go through that process, because it is, it's a formula of a human conversation that has just been proven to, convert people and connect on a really deep level.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So those are the only questions that were submitted over. If anybody else has questions, please speak out or send them over. You can always email support@synpractic.com. Next week, we're going to talk about communications for the October campaign. This is always a great session because we build a mind map for you so that you can now see how to profile people, how to really walk in the shoes of your ideal practice member, which is ultimately what you need to do if you want to move them, is really understand them so that they walk away and they're like, wow, Dr. Whalen, he gets me. That's awesome. So that's what we're talking about next week. Shout out to the active Facebook participants. I mean, it's getting really active there, but Dr. Tompkins, Dr. Rothman, Dr. Foss, Dr. Stephen Bordage, Dr. Jeff Grosskopf, and Dr. Nick Weigel, not a doctor, but a rock star. Great job. I mean, keep on posting in the Facebook group. That's what it's there for. It's there to gain immediate access to support. I know a lot of the other groups for chiropractic, they're not really a supportive environment. You get bashed if you say anything that goes against the group. But this group is not like that. This group is really about support. It represents the power in the pack, so keep on using it. Keep on sharing what works. Keep on sharing if you're stuck. Share inspiration. Share pictures of your office. When you do that, you're giving other people ideas, and that might just be the push that they need to make a massive impact in their community, and that's a really special dynamic. Like I mentioned, please send all questions to support@synpractic.com. In addition, you should get all your October campaigns. You should have gotten them this weekend. If you didn't, you'll get them today and or tomorrow morning. We're just running pace with the servers. Each site takes around 45 minutes to an hour at this point just to get all the content, because we've created so much content at once. So we're just running parallel with that. So if you have not received your campaigns, or you only received a couple of them, it's because this content is being moved into your website, into the dashboard. But you will get them today or tomorrow if you haven't received them yet. But please, please make sure to sign up for the training. I wish we could make this mandatory, but obviously it's your choice whether or not you attend, but you need to experience this training. So go to synpractic.com/dashboard-training-registration. Pick a time that works for you. If your staff cannot attend with you, let them attend by themselves. It's so important. This is going to automate your entire marketing process. It's worth the 30 to 45 minutes that we meet to get your questions answered and to see how to actually use the system. So like I said, I wish that was mandatory, but we can't make it mandatory. So we're going to end with a quote. I think this is an awesome quote. So one second, let me share this with you. All right, so the final quote is this: no more I'll do it tomorrow. No more buts. No more I can't. No more it's too hard. No more I'm too tired. No more waiting for it to get easier. No more putting it off. No more I don't have enough money. No more I'm not good enough. No more I would if I ... No more excuses. So why do I share this? Well, I share this because I'm sure each of you, every person that joined the tribe, the hundreds of you, set goals for what 2014 was going to mean to you. I'm sure of it. It's a natural tendency. We all do it. Personal and professional goals. You've set the goals, and now we're in September. The home stretch. There's only a few months left in this year. And what you can do is one of two things. You can make excuses in December with regards to why you have not hit your targets for your business and for your life, or you can recognize that if you're not there yet and you're not on pace, just amp it up and don't live with excuses, because it's just not worth it. And I know that in our tribe, we have such a special group of chiropractors who are involved. You are the no excuse group. You are the do whatever it takes group. You're the group that does what others don't even think to do. Now it's time to ramp it up so that we can close out this year with so much momentum that it just carries you through 2015 and beyond. That is not abstract. That is real. That is something that all of you can achieve, but the time is here and the time is now to do it. So go out there and rock it. If you guys need anything at all, please feel free to reach out to support@synpractic.com, and we look forward to providing the training. I'm going to personally jump on a few of these trainings. I know Dan will as well, and it's going to be a fantastic experience. It's a big week, and we appreciate all of you. So thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your week.
See you, everybody.